Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Today, I'm in a cafe bar in the town centre. Now, it's quite common to have cafes here where you can go for a coffee, and also you may have heard on the media that pubs here are no longer so popular because less and less people are choosing to drink alcohol. As a direct result, many pubs here are trying to go continental, and what that means is that they're changing their image. Historically, pubs would open in the afternoons and evenings, but many pubs here now want to be more family friendly. They've rebranded, opening in the morning, offering breakfast and coffee, which may seem more like our European neighbours. Of course, here, the time to buy alcohol is severely restricted. You can't buy alcohol before 11 a.m., and that, I think, is different in some parts of the UK. In England, you can buy alcohol from 8 a.m. In the northern part of the UK, that's restricted. It's 11 a.m. before you can buy alcohol. Some English people do come to the pubs early to buy alcohol, but in the northern part, they have to wait. So they're kind of competing with coffee shops. Now, as you probably know, in countries like France and Spain, in the continent, we sometimes refer to those as our continental counterparts or our continental neighbours. On the continent, it's quite possible to go to a cafe bar and have a glass of wine in the morning. That's not possible here. In this cafe bar, I want to describe what I'm looking at. It's very much a pub atmosphere. Even though no alcohol is available until much later, it has tables and chairs and a typical pub menu outlining the kind of beers that they sell. This particular one also has an app, so you can order and they'll bring your order to the table, so you don't have to keep going to the bar. Now I'm going to read the breakfast menu here, just to give you an idea of the kind of things that they sell. Now I had scrambled egg on toast, which was absolutely delicious. I love that. Okay, so the menu says breakfast served 8 a.m. until 12 noon. So the first thing it says is a large vegetarian breakfast. That's very typical here. You all know about the British breakfast or the typical English breakfast. So this is the vegetarian version. You can have eggs, 2 fried eggs, 3 vegetarian sausages, and the question is then, is it really a sausage? Baked beans, 3 hash browns, which is basically some kind of deep fried bread and potato, mushroom, tomato, and 2 slices of toast. And that all costs £7. They have a smaller version of that, and indeed a vegan version of that, where there's no eggs. They have the American breakfast, which of course is something similar but full of pancakes, and it's much sweeter. They also have toast alone. You can have 2 slices of toast with jam or marmalade, and you can choose the type of bread that you want. They also have eggs Benedict, which is 2 poached eggs on an English muffin with ham. They also have American-style pancakes. They have beans on toast, small beans on toast, and they also have breakfast sandwiches. So you could have an egg and cheese muffin that comes with a drink, uh, a smashed avocado muffin with egg as well. And so I had scrambled eggs and toast. They were quite reasonably priced at £3.77, and I bought a drink separately. They were delicious, and I can see here on the menu they're also offering porridge. And you can have fresh fruit put into that, like bananas, strawberries, blueberries, or sugar. Many people here prefer to eat porridge with salt. That's the way I eat it. So there's two different types of British people. Those who eat porridge with salt and those who eat porridge with sugar. So all in all, this looks like this is a very good deal for British people. I'm not sure everyone eats out. I don't usually have a big breakfast, only a little part, and I'm very happy with that. Maybe some fresh fruit. And I'm looking through the menu here for later as well. So it has a small, a version of small plates, a number of small plates here. Very small pizzas, garlic bread, side dishes. And for the main dishes, they have chicken, which you can order grilled or fried, and then they also have curries. It looks delicious. They have a wide variety of things. So you see, pubs here are trying to change to be a little bit like France, Spain, or Italy. But looking around this place, the alcohol clearly dominates. There's signs everywhere about the kind of alcohol they sell, an upcoming alcohol festival, and it's very clear that the clientele, the customers here, are people who are accustomed to drinking, and you know that by the faces. This cafe bar also has security, which would indicate that sometimes, perhaps on football days, they sometimes run into problems. There's a security guard who comes on duty in the evenings just to make sure things are quiet, and he's also there in the afternoon if there's a football match on. This cafe bar is quite extensive, and there's a sign here saying no children allowed upstairs. And I think generally speaking, in many bars and pubs, children aren't allowed inside anyway. This one's clearly trying to change. They've got a separate area for kids, which is downstairs in the beer garden, and kids aren't allowed upstairs. When I was a little boy, this building was the post office, and it was, and still is, attached to the train station, so that when they sorted out all of the paper mail, they could simply drag it through a door and they would be on a platform for it to go to different parts of the country or to the airport or wherever it was going. That's all changed now. With the internet, everything has changed. So what's left is a very large Victorian building with 2 floors. There's still remnants of the old post office. The name of this pub makes reference to the post office, and the train station is right next door. It's a handy place to come into if you're waiting for a train, but on the other hand, it's not very nice in the evening. This cafe bar in the evening would simply be a pub, and people wouldn't be coming in here only for coffee in the evening time. So in the morning time it's quite safe, but as time goes on, I wouldn't really like to be someone who's drinking here. It's one of the cheapest types of pubs in the UK. It's a large chain, and whenever cheap alcohol is being offered, you can expect trouble. Like any UK building, it's covered in fire exits. And what I mean by that, when I say covered in, I mean there's a lot of them. There's a fire exit directly behind me, there's a fire exit in front of me, and there's many signs telling me where the nearest exit is. There's pictures on the wall of the old post office as it used to be. And I can see the train station, the corner of it at least, covered in pigeons. And it's very beautiful. It's very nice with these Roman-style arches. The nice thing about sitting upstairs here is that in the morning it's very quiet, and out of the windows I can see the residency for the university. Big tall buildings which house little rooms for students from all over the world. And underneath there's a shopping center which looks like it comes from the 1970s. It doesn't. It's fairly new, but the building is old. I believe it was a factory of some kind. In the distance, I can see the train tracks, and they're all electric, so there's large electrical-looking structures, metal structures covering the tracks, as well as old bridges. So it really is a mixture of old and new. Because this place is a family-friendly cafe bar, it's very much help yourself. Even though they bring you your food and your drink, you have to go and get your own knives, forks, and condiments, as we call them, you know, the sauces and vinegar and salt, from a main tray which sits in the middle. What's striking about this place in particular is the low-lying chandeliers, or it's more correct to say the low-hanging chandeliers. These are big lights hanging from the ceiling, which give a feeling of grandeur and beauty of a time gone by. When I was a little boy, I don't remember the chandeliers, but I certainly do remember the counter service for the post office, which was downstairs. And all of the sorting of the mail took place upstairs, because that's where there's a door that connects with the train station. Now that it's a pub, I'm sure that exit has been all sealed off. Or maybe they've left it simply as a fire exit for health and safety reasons. I don't know. Looking through these large arch windows is indeed very beautiful. If it wasn't for the advertisements for beer everywhere, this could easily be mistaken for a big old government library, but with no books, or at least some kind of government building or old-style, old-fashioned bank. We don't have many of those left, and I think the reason why this building looks the way it does is because it's probably protected by law. Many of our old buildings can't be touched if they're registered as having some special interest to historians. I'm not sure why this building would be exactly special, but it does almost certainly bear a testament to the days when we had a postal service. Of course, we still have a postal service, but they operate from very small buildings now because nobody uses it. So I can look over the balcony here. I'm on the first floor, and there's a huge big balcony like a mezzanine that goes around the whole of this floor, so I can look down to the main floor, and I can see people who are anxiously waiting for 11 o'clock to come when they can buy beer, which is very sad, but That's the way it is. The clouds are in the sky, it's dark, murky, and grey, and the rain has come, which gives a very damp feeling. But still, the interior of this building is very beautiful, well looked after, and of course, there's CCTV cameras everywhere. There's light fittings on the walls as well, which really complement these hanging chandeliers. Looking into the distance, I can see on the floor below many people coming in to shelter out of the rain. In the morning times, pubs like this really are converted into coffee shops, you could say. But as the day goes on, the atmosphere really changes and the noise level certainly goes up. It's really nice that they have a dual purpose, selling the coffee and the beer. Well, that's it from me for today. I hope you've enjoyed this little description of a cafe bar. More of a bar than a cafe, but in the mornings, maybe more of a cafe than a bar. That's it from me. Take care. Bye.